Wiki special edition. I want to speak because it's going to be 12th of Cheshvan this week. The Hilula of Rabbi Mordechai Maaravi, Zeche Tzadik Livracha, great rabbi of his time. He was actually born back in English year 1945. He passed away in the Hebrew year Tafshin Samaktet. Naturally, that is 2008. The 12th of Cheshvan, Yud Bet Cheshvan, respectively. Now, he came from a rabbinic auspices. His father's name was Shlomo Maaravi, and his mother's name was Rabbinit Yafa. He was born in 1945, actually in Damascus, in Syria. So he was of Syrian origin. Now, Kamot Tafshin Chet, famous year, 1948, let's say the year of the establishment of Medinat Israel. He will be fortunate enough to go with his parents to Eretz Israel over there at that point in time, where there was waves, and droves of people making aliyah from all the different countries at that point in time, as there was a formation of state and big year, let's just say, in change all across the entire world. So he will go to Eretz Israel, he will go up to study, learn Torah, under the auspices of his father, who was great Rabbi Shlomo Maaravi, and would also be working, I think, part-time also in trade, or I'm not sure if his father was or he was himself. But it's interesting, I think his father was actually working in trade, and he would send his son to learn Torah with the great rabbis, the great chachamim of the various different yeshivot at that point in time in Eretz Israel, respectively, over there. Now it's interesting, Rabbi Mordechai Maaravi would start giving shiurim in various different places. He'll have the confidence in of itself, and will really push himself to spread Torah, and let's say Yirat Shamayim in of itself. He would actually be part of, I think, a Hitzareb Letzevet Amiyased Shel Yeshivat Bרכת Yosef Bebnei. So he will be very much part of the Bרכת Yosef Yeshiva in Bnei Brak, I think famous yeshiva it is of its time. Meshech Asrat Shanim Shemesh Rab Mora B'Yeshiva Zo. He worked as a rabbi and as an educator inside this Talmudic academy in Bnei Brak. Bnei Brak being one of the ultra-Orthodox cities in Israel, without doubt, a place that we visited on various occasions for inside this channel. So he'll be working as an educator there, a rabbi over there. And I think he was close. He had his brother-in-law, great Rabbi Eliyahu Porat Teherani. We'll speak about him more towards the end of the class. Now, it's actually interesting. Chacham Mordechai Maaravi liva et talmidav mereshit tzadeha b'yeshiva. Would really guide the people in yeshiva. V'hora lahem et derech kenyan atorah ve'et hasimcha b'limudah. He had an approach within regards to Torah, Jewish wisdom learning, to imbue the people, like within regards to Yirat Hashem in of itself. At the same time, to do it in a joyous manner at the same time, because there's this concept that when someone is learning Torah, it's great, but when it's done, obviously, with a joy at that stage in time, it's got 1,000 times the value. That's what I heard from a great rabbi one time. So he very much imbued this midah of simcha when he was imbuing the people with Torah learning in of itself. Very interesting. He was worried about his talmidim, his students at the time, but had a special avah for them, a love for them, wanted the best really for them in itself, and just shows the epitome of a great rabbi is the rabbi that tries to create new leaders at the same time, but also at the same time showing the talmidim love and respecting himself. Something very much reported over here, just using notes of the Haimi website once again. So he was worried about all, that they were okay. All the students were in everything they did. Chacham Mordechai Maaravi hashlim ha'ismachto ketoen rabbanei v'siyah. Just reading this in Hebrew, just reading over, saying b'kol kocho lishkanat shalom bayit. So he would really help within regards to students, new married couples with regards to shalom bayit, really using his energy and really helping people up. And so besuf yamei chala b'chaliotav, I think he nasa ledarom Africa lishtale. So he traveled to North Africa towards an Arab who saval yusurim kashim v'kivel otam ba'ava. Unfortunately, he did suffer from I think health conditions and pains, but he took it on, as it said over here, knowing that it's from Hashem over there, and with let's just say the situation, making the best of the situation. Now he passed away, I think it was on 12th of Cheshvan back in the year 2008, and he was buried, I think, in the burial plot, I think in the Vishnitz area in Bnei Brak, respectively. Now, Kamot Tafshin Ayin, a year later in 2009, I think the year, let's say, of his passing, Yatzal or Bebnei Brak Sifro Gedulot Mordechai, a famous book of his, The Greatness of Mordechai. Gedulot Mordechai would come out a year later in Bnei Brak. This was a book on the Parashat Shvuah, the weekly Torah portion, various different chidushim, and at the same time giving over ethical teachings, Musar, Divrei Musar. Ken of Orba Sefer Gnizat Kitvei Chachamei Damasek. He will also bring about a book with regards to writings of great rabbis from Syria, from Damascus particularly. When I get here, the Kama Hespedim Shnimru Lichvodo. There are certain Hespedim eulogies, let's just say, within regards to some of those great rabbis. Interesting enough. Now, this book called, I think it had different names. Sefer Zichron Gedol Mordechai. This was Rabbi Mordechai Maaravi. Just once again, just illustrating over, because I think the book is available in many places to buy at the moment. He was a ram in Yeshivat Bרכת Yosef in Bnei Brak, as we mentioned about beforehand, and this Ma'amar Mordechai brings about various different teachings within regards to the Parshat Shvuah and Musa teachings in itself, available basically in many, many different places currently at the moment, and just stressing about that it was Kobetz in of itself, and various different teachings. I think it had different names also attached to it. Ma'amar Mordechai, Gedlat Mordechai, Gedulat Mordechai, Sefer Zichron Gedlat Mordechai, let's just say in of itself. And I believe it was actually printed in Bnei Brak, respectively. I think it featured 2 amudim, if I'm not mistaken, and and obviously it was written in Hebrew, the book in of itself. And I think it doesn't just bring aspects from the 5 books of Moses, also from the Tanakh, Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim, respectively, various sichot on subject. I think bring about different laws with regards to Jewish law also, and within regards to the Syrian community, very, very much so. So we said before, I think he was born, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was in the 2nd of January 1945, right at the beginning of the year 1945. So we're talking about he was born 80 years ago, here from the time of recording. So I think it's featured very much in many of the different libraries. You can actually find his teachings and his books. And he really was a champion when it came to bringing about history, halacha at the same time, and various different importances in of itself. And actually, there's just reading over here a title, which is there's an article about it that was published 4 years ago. It says, "Vayidber Moshe el Rashi hamatot, lo yachal b'Rav kol yotze mipiv yaseh." Kan remez gadol. At kama chala al manhig ba'am Yisrael hachova shlo yechalel edvaro. Just title, just encapsulating his greatness about the great rabbis in Israel. B'tchilad kshu adiyam rak mo'amad lekabel mishra meruba hu laftiach la'am abtachot gedolot v'lachash kibel et mishrato hofechu et oro minatzel she'ev shalo lekayem alav la'amod, giving a very good title, just encapsulating the greatness within regards to Torah. Let's explore a few of the highlights from his book over here, which we're talking about, happen to be speaking about over here today, from the book. Now, one thing, so once again, just to reiterate, it was printed in 2009, this book was, in of itself, in Bnei Brak, once again, the Zichron Gedolot Mordechai. So I think from page 101, it's actually, by the way, I think the book actually came out through his family. His family would actually print the book. One of the teachings says, Melamed ma'alat ba'alei teshuva, shlomdim la'acha shel gisho. Just importance within regards to Baalei Teshuvah, someone that's returned to Judaism in itself, the greatness within regards to them, and how important actually it is. Something that we brought down on various occasions before here inside this series, which I very much recommend everyone to look more into. Another teaching he gives over here. This actually comes, I believe, from page 105. And I think it actually comes up, this passage. V'daber el bnei Yisrael v'yikhu lo truma me'et kol ish asher yidbenu libo hakadosh baruch hu amar leMoshe. He's quoting over various different words within regards to our forefather Moses in of itself. So that's one of the teachings he gives about inside this book over here. Friends, anyone that's joining in, we're exploring the life of great Rabbi because it marks his Hilula over here this week on the 12th of Cheshvan, Rabbi Mordechai Maaravi. So we're exploring a few of the highlights from his great book. Now, I believe and page, if I'm not mistaken, 107 of the Zichron Gedolot Mordechai, he teaches Melamed Sheichud Mashpia Lekabel Shefa Ma'al Hatzeva, just the amount of blessings that someone gets in of itself, like the Shefa and the Bרכת, and that's another teaching from the book. Anyone tuning in live at the moment, you're new to the channel, please subscribe to our channel. We are a community here that explores the history of great scholars of yesteryear, and great rabbis, especially from North African countries, Ethiopia, from Asian countries in itself respectively. So please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 8,000 subscribers here by the end of, let's say, mid-November. Let's see if we can get that. Now, another teaching he teaches over inside his Torah colossal book. It's packed with full of teachings. The Gedolot Mordechai in of itself, which I very, very much recommend everyone to actually get and look into in of itself. Okay. Melamed Ma'alat Chodesh Elul Shehakol Holech Achar HaHachana. Now, the importance within regards to Hebrew month of Elul, we just came out of it. We're still in the month of Tishrei at the moment as we speak. But Elul, let's just say, the importance of that month, it has, let's just say, in of itself, we know that obviously Sephardim will say Slichot for 40 days from Rosh Chodesh Elul all the way till Yom Kippur, respectively. Elul is a time of preparation for the great autumn days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, respectively. So he's basically stressing the importance about it, how it's a preparation for that period of time. I think this actually comes from page 137 and 138 from the book, once again, just to stress the source. Another teaching, now this time this teaching, the Haymi website, once again, is giving over, I believe, comes from page 123, where he teaches over here, Melamed Chovat Manhigei Hamiflagot Shelo Yechelu Devrim Lifnei Habechirot. There's another important, let's say, a teaching that he's actually bringing out inside his book over here. So very, very important. Anyone, once again, tuning in live at the moment, welcome to our channel. We're exploring the life of a great rabbi of yesteryear. So welcome, everyone. Okay, another teaching. I think this one actually comes from page 154. It says, "Melamed shetzarich liot shalem ba'avat hashalom kedei shedavrav yu nishma'im." The importance of loving other people and loving peace, pursuing peace in themselves. It's actually one of the teachings that we have in the book of Pirkei Avot, the ethics of the fathers, respectively, over here. And another ethical teaching that he gives over inside his writings, very, very important. So I'm just looking at the cover of the book at the moment. The Gedolot Mordechai. It says Mama Mordechai. It's a kovetz of Mama Mordechai, and Rabbi Mordechai Maaravi. Great book. It's I think it's available in various different places. Also, that's something that has to be stressed over here. So yeah, very interesting. Always good to explore the life of great rabbis of yesteryear. I actually got a nice preface also, which you can actually see on the internet on various different sources, also, which we have to point out. Just stating over here, because in the preface it says Lezeche. I read it. Leilui Amo Atzar Harav Rabbi Mordechai Maaravi ran Yeshivat Bרכת Yosef. It's actually named Birkei Yosef over here, just stating that he passed away on Yud Bet Mar Cheshvan, because remember, this book was published a year after he passed away, and it's Kovetz of Mama Mordechai. Mortzama Marosh El was named, just stressing on the preface, how it's bringing about teachings in the Parshat Shavua, Musar, and various other mentionings in of itself, and just stating that it was printed in Bnei Brak. Just reading over the preface over here, as I'm fortunate enough to have that. Now it's divided up into various different sections, the book, if I'm not mistaken. I think the first one is the Sefer Zichron Gedolot Mordechai. That's what the first name was given over here, which is just memory within regards to him. Then just stressing over once again, he was a ram in Yeshivat Bרכת Yosef, and the importance of the book with the ethical teachings that it brings about from the Parshat Shavua, and Chidushim, novelties from the Torah. Now there's another book over there, the Genuzot Michtav Yad Chachmei Damascus, which we mentioned about before. Now Rabbi Yaakov Antebi, I think he was a Mara Da'atra and the head of Jewish court in Damascus, and Rabbi Yitzchak Abu Lafia, who was author of the Shut, the Bnei Yitzchak, Rabbi Ezra HaKohen Trab, who was author of the Shelot Shuvot, a question-answer book of the Sharei Ezra, Rabbi Yehuda Chaim HaKohen Trab, Misolton, another great rabbi that authored the Torah questions and answers book of Zlot Liyuda, Rabbi Eliyahu HaKohen Trab, who was a head of Jewish court in Damascus, Hagon Rabbi Yehuda Chaim HaKohen Trab, Misultan, once again, a great rabbi in Damascus. So this book in itself, the Genuzot Mechtav Yad at Damascus, very much feature, I think, teachings within regards to those great rabbis in of itself. Now, just to stress over one more time, within regards to the book, the just to get the place over here, the Mordechai, that part of the book, it was written Mordechai in manuscript originally from him. Obviously, it talks about the Musa and the Chidushim, the Chidushei Torah, the novelties within regards to Torah. I think added onto the book itself are various Chidushim on Torah and the Piskei Dinim, let's just say, the rendering of halachic decisions of Rabbi Shlomo Moshe Amar, if I'm not mistaken, also Rabbi Tzion Baron, Rabbi Yitzchak Zilberstein, Rabbi Zalman Nehemiah Goldberg, and Rabbi Yitzchak Yosef, obviously he was a previous chief Rabbi Rishon LeZion of Israel, we have to stress over. Rabbi Masud ben Shimon, remember he was a great Rabbi Masud ben Shimon, great rabbi, and various other teachings from the various different great families himself, Hespedim, in himself, eulogies, and I think, and so on and so forth, and very, very important book, obviously printed in Bnei Brak, I believe, after he passed away. So just stressing within regards to the greatness of the rabbi. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was related to another famous rabbi, Rabbi Teherani. Rabbi, I think his full name, to be honest, was Rabbi Eliyahu Porat Teherani, and he was an author of the Alufenu Mesuvlim, if I'm not mistaken, a famous book in of itself. Let's just say something about it. I think it's available on various different places in of itself. It's got like a special, the Koshrim Nasrim on Torah Habayta Yudi, Ra'im Ohavim, Alufenu Mesuvlim in of itself. So he was, I think, related, I think through marriage. It might have been his brother-in-law, but I have to double check on that. But that book in of itself is, I believe, available in various different places. I think the National Library of Israel will actually talk about Alufenu Mesuvlim, obviously connected to him, and I think it was divided into a few halakim, few different volumes. This book was, once again, this was also published in Bnei Brak. That was the place of publication. Or Yochanan, I think Yochanan, if I'm not mistaken, the Chuk L'Havtzat Torah, if I'm not mistaken. So that's very interesting. Maybe in Tafshin Nun Gimel, it had actually been printed in of itself. That's something else that we've got to stress about it. Just a few notes within regards to it. I think there's different chalakim to this book also. The Alfenu Mesavlim. I think Chelek Aleph talks about the opening of the Sharei Hatzalah Lamalet Mikpadanut, and within regards to also the topic of Ka'as v'Choseh Shalva Noten Derech Lehebeat Shalom El Nafsho V'Gam El Beito. So that's one of the teachings over there. I think in faster. Chelek Bet will be dealing with Torah Tzavayit Yehudi, the opening of the gates. B'Pnei Kala v'Chamuta L'Chayei Shalom V'Ra'ot. Torah Hasaba V'Nechadav. The Torah teachings of the grandfather and the children's Chovot V'Zochuyot. Tafkid Ish Yisrael B'Mei Hazkena V'Shiva. And there's a third volume also, the Ra'im Ohovim, which once again is a Poteach, described as a Poteach Shari Eitzah, with regards to the gates of advice, L'Karov V'Halavavot Bein Ra'im Ohovim, Solel Kishrei Havana Bein Ulamot V'Kotvim G'Gdolim, respectively. So teaching over many different sections. The book of his relative is actually a fancy cover in of itself. I think once again listing it as a Poteach Sha'ar, respectively, the book in of itself, and manuscript form in of itself. So yeah, so it says actually on the preface of that specific book, Poteach Sha'arei Hatzalah Lemalet Mikpadanut Ka'as v'Choseh Shalva Noten Derech La'avat Shalom, the importance of having peace inside the house, and Nafsho V'Gam El Beito, the importance of it not just being in the undertakings of one's life in of itself, respectively, but also in one's house, the importances within regards to that. So very, very interesting. We spoke about a famous rabbi today who actually happened to have been from Syria originally, another great Chalabi rabbi, let's just say, in of itself. And yeah, very, very interesting over here, where we are absolutely doing a lot of different Torah content videos here on this channel. Friends, we're a community here. We are exploring about the history of great rabbis of yesteryear, rabbis that came from various different countries, especially Ottoman countries, North Africa. We try and deal with also over there North African countries like Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, all those places. We speak about great rabbis of yesteryear. So this is a project we're working on. In Marks, we try and record some words about the great rabbis, especially at a time period when it happens to be their Hilula, the time period where the great rabbis passed away. So we say a word within regards to that. Now, we actually do more on this channel. Also, I have to state out over here, we are a community that has a great rabbinic personality or Jewish personality that gives over some words of wisdom every single day to let's say just say inspire all of Am Yisrael and give over some ethical teachings, which really is absolutely phenomenal at the moment, and we really appreciate all the fantastic feedback. Also, another thing that we are doing at the moment is tours all over Israel. We are traveling, looking at the archaeology at the moment of all the different places in Israel in of itself, and just exploring the different places, the different street signs. We're trying to really to explore about the history of the rabbis and look at it, how it manifests himself in Israel in of itself, the beauty of the streets, the tours, the archaeology, and so on and so forth. So much great stuff is going on at the moment, and so much exciting news as we're really going in this channel, one thing for sure, from strength to strength at the moment. We tour especially all over the city of Bet Shemesh, and we like to tour all over Yerushalayim. Obviously, we've done, I think, in Jerusalem already, maybe as many as about 80 tours. And in Bet Shemesh itself, I think we've done about a very neat, maybe 50 tours in of itself. So we're traveling all over. So anyone that joins, subscribe to the channel, and you'll see all these great tours and great aspects. Let's just tell you just a background of what we've actually covered this week, because we've achieved so much. Yesterday on this channel, we spoke about the history of the El Salvador Jewish community. We spoke about great rabbis over there, especially Rabbi Elisha Salas, who's a great rabbi there, and the history of the country. So that's another project we're doing at the moment. We're exploring the various different countries of yesteryear and what their Jewish communities were like in previous times. We also spoke yesterday about the country of Costa Rica, which is very interesting, which was very exciting also to speak about the America's country in of itself. We also spoke about Venezuela over the last, I think it was 2 days ago. We had thousands of people watch it, where we talked about the Jewish community of Venezuela, how it went about from strength to strength. There were key people there like Isaac P. Pardo. There was also the Ben Zaken family. We spoke about the synagogues of Venezuela. We spoke about, and the history of what actually happened. What was the Sephardic community like? Great personalities, like Samuel Hebra and various other places. So that was another exciting thing we covered this week, where we spoke about great rabbis from Venezuela, like Rabbi Shimon ben Zaken, a rabbi that would become very great in Seattle and all over the world, and so on and so forth. So Venezuela was another place that we spoke about. And also we spoke about, I think quite recently, about the country Uruguay, about the rich heritage within what actually took place in places like Uruguay and Brazil. We spoke about great rabbis over there, especially in Brazil. We spoke about people, not just rabbis, personalities. Antonio Jose de Silva, that was an important person we spoke about. We talked about Dutch Brazil in that class. So I'd recommend everyone to look into that, about the Dutch Indies time period we spoke about, and that fantastic video in itself. And we spoke about just great personalities, obviously. And we also speak, when we're exploring about the history of the great rabbis and the great countries, obviously, the Jewish communities, about the famous synagogues over there. Especially when we spoke about Brazil, we spoke about Tiferet Yisrael synagogue, and how many of these synagogues end up having museums in it afterwards. We spoke about the Israelite Center of Paranau in the Brazil video, and various other congregations, Bet El synagogue respectively. And we're trying to really get an entire, let's just say, science in of itself of what actually went on in all the various different countries inside the whole world. So that's very interesting. And hopefully we're going from strength to strength also at the moment. So we did Brazil. So hopefully today we're going to maybe record about another Jewish country, the Jewish history of another country. Also, that's a plan also to do today, just to hopefully we're going to try and complete that whole series of the various different South American countries, and then go on hopefully to maybe concentrate more on the Asian countries itself, respectively, and North African countries. One definitely plan would be to speak about, there'll be multiple part series, especially about Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, all those places, and maybe go onto Iran and Iraq. There's so much to say about so many of the different places in of itself. So very important. So friends, Thank you everyone for watching over here. Today we're speaking about Rabbi Mordechai Maaravi, a great rabbi that actually came from his time. He came from Syria, but he was very, very young. He was only about 3 years of age at the time period when he would actually come to Eretz Israel. He actually came on the year of independence in 1948, so he'd been 3 years of age at the time he came. So please, everyone, subscribe to our channel. We're trying to get to 8,000 subscribers very soon. Now, as a special treat over here, because you've all been watching fantastically, you'll get to explore for a minute some of the scenes here of this fantastic country of Israel. We've got a beautiful park right behind me, across the road over here. It's called the Yarmut Park, as we're exploring the lives of great rabbis of yesteryear, and nothing like just breathing the air in the morning of Eretz Israel. Remember, Rabbi Maaravi passed away, I believe, in the year 2008. He was 63 years of age at the time he passed away, so he lived about 60 years in Israel. You can see the beautiful synagogues of Israel and the schools, so on, and the archaeology. And it's always great to speak about our great Chachamim of yesteryear. Rabbi Mordechai Maaravi, a great Syrian-born rabbi in Israel and author of great books, also very, very important teachings. It's just if anyone's wondering, I'm actually recording this here in the city of Bet Shemesh, in actually Ramat Bet Shemesh Aleph, to be precise, over here. So very, very interesting. I want to wish you all blessings. We're coming into Shabbat, Parshat Lech Lecha tomorrow, the Torah portion of Lech Lecha. It's a third portion in the book of Bereshit. A lot of teachings. We learn all about Abraham in this week's Parsha, and Sarah, and Lot, and the famous war of the 4 kings against the 5 kings, which we'll feature. You've got a yeshiva over here called Yeshivat or Chot Moshe. And I think I'll leave you all to it. We spoke about Rabbi Mordechai Maaravi today, who was a teacher, educator in the famous Bרכת Yosef Yeshiva in Bnei Brak. So please everyone subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Thank you.